Hello and welcome to The Extra Mile. I'm Linda Boudreau. Our guest today is Cristy Leichty. She is the program director at Cite des Arts and one of my very favorite people to interview because there are always so many wonderful things going on over there. Welcome, Cristy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Good to have you back again. So I guess just by way of introduction, in case there's anyone in Acadiana who does not know what Cite des Arts is,
yes.
What is it?
Well, we are a community, local grassroots art center. Essentially, we're a rental facility for groups that want to put on plays or have musical entertainment or dance productions or poetry or film. We have all of that available for the community to use, which is wonderful. And
it is. It's a real gift to the community because if you don't have that, then if you want to put on a play or do something, you have nowhere to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've often said that I've lived in other cities around the country, and every city should have a center like Cite, because it does provide the opportunity for artists to have a platform for their work for the public.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what's beautiful about it is that I'm the program manager, but I don't have to do much programming because it really all comes to me.
So all you have to do is say yes.
Exactly, which I love to do, because really a lot of times you're fulfilling someone's dream.
You are.
Maybe they wrote a play and they would like to produce an original work. Or maybe they just happen to like musical theater and they want a place to direct or produce a musical, or children's theater or regular dramas. I mean, it's really just such a great variety of things. And then it's wonderful for the community too, because if you enjoy theater, for a very inexpensive price, you can come downtown and you can see a play almost any weekend.
Yeah. And how many people does it seat?
Well, the main auditorium that we have seats around 105 people.
Which is a good-sized crowd.
It is. It's good, but it's not too big.
Yeah, exactly. So it's intimate still.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a really fun way to see a play. I think there's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah, there's not.
You can hear everything and see it really well. And then we have a second stage also that we use. I mean, sometimes we have two plays at the same time on a given night. And that one is a little smaller. It holds around 50 to 60 chairs.
Okay, so if somebody wants to book a play, for a play, then they would just kind of decide which space they want. And,
yes.
And they can practice, they can rehearse there, they can use a facility.
Yes.
As they need it.
Yes, we give free rehearsal space to folks who are producing their show at Cite. And if someone is going to produce somewhere else, then they might have to pay a little rental fee for the rehearsal space. And it's amazing how many, I might have 3 or 4 production companies rehearsing on any given night at Cite.
Really?
It's like unbelievable the amount of action that's happening in the evening there.
So Lafayette has really stepped up, because I remember a day when we couldn't get a dinner theater or a theater, you know, with plays to last, and it was not sustainable. But something has happened in the last 10, 15 years in Lafayette, huh?
Yeah, I believe so. And we're really trying to get the word out that this is an entertainment option for folks. You can see a play at 7:30 p.m., and then if you still want to go out and see live music somewhere, that's not going to start till 9:30, 10 o'clock, which is when we're finished.
And there's dinner somewhere in there too, because you are downtown Lafayette.
Yes, there is dinner downtown, absolutely.
So there's lots to do.
Yes.
But you have one we wanted to focus on today was one particular event, and this is a Cite event, right?
It is. We have, this is a Cite des Arts and Science Museum festival, but it's also growing. We're now including some UL departments of students who are doing stuff for this festival. It's a doers festival. It's called the Steampunk and Makers Fair, and that's 2 different concepts.
But say that again really slowly, because people don't always hear the words when you say it the first time, because they're not used to hearing them together.
It can be confusing.
Yeah.
It's steampunk
okay.
and makers. So steampunk has nothing to do with rock and roll punk music.
No, nothing at all?
It doesn't. It started as a literary genre. So it's kind of a fantasy fiction writing thing, or it was in the beginning. And then, of course, creative people take things in a zillion different directions. So now there's a steampunk look, and that is the late Victorian era, pretty much, or Civil War, or what's the other thing? It's late 1800s.
Before electricity took over.
Before electricity. And the idea of steampunk is that if the world would have gone more industrial age, more like gears and wheels rather than computers, then the look would be Victorian, late Victorian. But they also include science fiction in that. So it's a little bit of Jules Verne as well. So a steampunk identity might be someone who works on an airship who has Doctor Who type weaponry.
But the airship they don't have lasers. They have stuff that runs on gears and cranks.
They do. They might have lasers too.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, it's the late 1800s meets the future, which kids really get it.
It's so much fun,
and they love it. So if you look at it from a literary point of view, there's all kinds of steampunk books out there that are available, which you can go to the library and ask them for steampunk literature. They'll give you a whole bunch of different options.
Yeah, I had never even heard of steampunk until you introduced me to it, and then I've read some since, and it's great fun to read.
It is great fun to read, yes. And although this is kind of a new concept maybe for Lafayette, different big cities have had steampunk festivals and or groups for many years. There's one in New Orleans called Airship Isabella. So groups of people come together, they say, hey, let's make an airship, and then people write their own character, who they are, what their job is on the airship, and what they do. So it's very creative, and so there's all kinds of
interactive. Then it's not just one person sitting down writing a story. Then it becomes a group of people together creating something. Is that right?
Yes, and it's very improvisational.
Okay.
So that's how it becomes very theatrical in a way. And so there we go. We have the performing arts. The maker part of the festival is much more concrete, even though steampunkers are makers. And that's why we decided to make it a make festival too.
Why are steampunkers makers?
Because often they have to make their own costumes because maybe they don't live in an area where they're readily available, or they don't want to order something online. They'd rather be more creative. So they make their costume, they might make accessories, they might invent inventions like gadgetry that's steampunk. It looks late 1800s. It's like Tesla and Edison, all those guys. Throw in some gears and boom, you have something creative, right? And it's art.
Yeah. Okay.
So performing arts and art, and then the make, so they're makers, but the make movement, it goes beyond that. A maker is anybody who makes anything. And it could be on a computer.
Can it be bread? Can it be, it can be anything?
I think it can be anything. I think it could be food. I think it could be, it's people who like to hack life. Like, oh, I need this particular thing for my skateboard. I think I'll make one.
So do it yourself, create it yourself, and make it happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
So inventors and engineers and hackers, people who develop new ideas, those are makers. So, and in California, there's a giant make movement, and there's a makers fair in San Mateo, California, where I used to live, and they get upwards of 300,000 people visiting their festival because people love to come together and see the giant robots and, you know, the mechanical spiders and the things that people make. It's astonishing. I saw a guitar that was made out of a scoop shovel once. You know, those big shovels with the big wide end. He made a guitar out of it.
He must have weighed a ton.
I don't know if it did, but he played it, and it was amazing. So we're looking for those people who are builders in their own garages. They like to weld things in their garage. They like to make games out of software. Anybody who has something that they'd like to display for the public, because this is a festival that celebrates doing.
So this is a steampunk makers festival.
Yes.
And when is it going to be?
It's every November. This year it's November the 15th. And it's going to be in
It's a one-day?
It's a one-day festival.
Well, you better jam it all in just a few short hours.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, the way this whole thing started was a couple of years ago was Cite des Arts 10-year anniversary. And I had to come up with some sort of party idea. So we did a street party called the Steampunk Fair.
Just as a party theme?
Kind of a party, and we had vendors who sold things like jewelry and accessories and costumes and artwork that they had made. We had an art display. We had all kinds of acts in our theater, including a magician and a silk spinner from the ceiling. We had belly dancers, and we had an original musical. So all of that was going on inside. Outside on the street, we had live bands and, you know, some food trucks and stuff. So we had about 400 people. It was very successful, we thought.
For a party?
Yeah, we felt like, oh, this is something people like. So the next year we partnered with the Science Museum, added the make movement, And we closed off 2 streets, and we broke a record that day, I think, for attendance. We had about 2,500 people come by.
That's a lot of people for a one-day event in downtown Lafayette.
Yes.
For a new and novel idea. I mean, it isn't like this is something that we're used to even participating in.
No, and when we started the festival, we knew, I had done some research, and I knew that there was no other steampunk festival in Louisiana, and possibly not another one in the South, at least that I know of. They have them all over the world, so it's not like it's a new idea, it's just that it hadn't been done here yet. So I think we're going to double that size again this year by having it in the park.
Yeah, it's going to be in which park?
Park Sans Souci downtown,
Okay.
on November the 15th. The weather should be great. And we have 5 bands during the day, and we're going to have all this display and opportunities for people to wear costumes. And we have all these contests that we do. Last year we hooked up also with the Louisiana Beard and Facial Hair Association, and so they did beard contests, which were really fun, and they had them for women as well as children, like make your own beard.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, well, I don't know if I could grow one real quick.
You make your own and wear it, and then there's judges, and we had all kinds of prizes. Like I said, we had Airship Isabella, and this year and we had an airship from Mississippi,
Oh, okay.
and we had vendors from Texas.
So this is a multi-state event already.
Already, yes indeed. And I just believe it's going to get better. I'm now looking for more manufacturers in this area who want to be sponsors and maybe want to display. What is it that we make in Acadiana that's special and regional and interesting?
So give me some ideas, because I'm drawing a blank when I try to visualize what you're saying.
Yeah.
Who you're looking for.
Well, last year we had Noble Plastics from Karen Crow, or not Karen Crow, Grand Coteau. That's where their business is.
And what do they do?
Well, they are amazing. The kinds of stuff that they make out of plastic for various businesses. They make parts for machines, and they had a robot arm that they brought to the Science Museum, and that was their display, so that they could talk about their company and what they do. Then we
So
had
is that robot arm like operational?
It was operational, yes.
gosh.
And if you go to their facility in Grand Coteau and see what they do, like if you have in your mind, like, I'm going to make a plastic thing, I wonder who could design and help me manufacture this thing that I need for whatever it is I'm doing. You should go talk to Noble Plastics, because it is remarkable what they come up with. They had on display at their facility samurai armor that they had made. And they made all these little pieces that looked like hand-hammered copper, but it was plastic. So if you've ever seen a samurai suit of armor that they used to use in Japan, Noble Plastics built their own. So it's a
So they have
broad
some real
range.
creative people over there, too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then we also had Begno Manufacturing.
And what do they do?
They make all kinds of things out of metal, and beautiful things, and it's definitely for industry and sort of like oil service.
But that's the kind of steampunky stuff, huh?
Oh, it's very steampunk, and they were just really enthusiastic. They were our title sponsor last year. They gave us the most and appreciated most sort of where we were going with this thing. And one of the things they made us was a skeleton key that was for the festival they had etched the logo on the top and the year, and then the bottom part of it was like also a bottle opener. So it was useful and a fun like little token that we could sell to promote our festival.
Because your festival is free.
The festival is free. Yes, ma'am.
How do you keep all these wonderful things free? How do we do that in Lafayette? We keep a lot of really good stuff free.
Well,
That must mean our community gets behind them, huh?
Yes, it's only because of the generosity of individuals and companies who understand that when we're bringing visitors here to see Acadiana, they're leaving a lot of money here as well. They're staying in hotels, they're eating at the restaurants. This is what helps our economy. I mean, Louisiana, the number 1 and 2 economies are oil and agriculture. After that, I believe it's tourism. So, and this is going to attract a whole different group of people. Right. This isn't just a Cajun and Zydeco festival, even though those are wonderful and beautiful and many people come to them. This is more of a thinkers, doer, kind of creative kind of festival.
So when you put a festival like this on, or when this happens in November,
mm-hmm.
the people that come, a lot of them, I guess, are going to come to look.
Yes.
But I bet a lot of them are going to come to do.
I hope so.
So if you come to do, what do you get to do?
Well, we have the literary contest, costume contest. And another wonderful thing that we had last year and we'll have again this year was there's a business in Lafayette called InventureWorks. And what they're about is fostering ideas. So
Just any kind of idea?
Well, yeah, but I mean, especially ideas for business.
Okay.
So they do an event like a Shark Tank, if people are familiar with that.
A TV show.
Exactly, the TV show where people go on the TV and they convince investors that their idea will make money. The InventureWorks Shark Tank is actually called The Vault. So they had a vault during the Steampunk and Makers Fair with UL students. So industrial design students, actually any kind of student at UL who had a good idea for making a business pitch got to make a pitch for a panel of judges, including investors. And most of them, maybe all of them, got something out of it. In other words, they got a space to work, they got a little money to further their idea along, and they got help from people in industries who could give them constructive criticism, something that would make their idea better. So this is what's fostering business in Lafayette. And
what a great idea.
Well, yeah, and if young people can make a business here in Lafayette, that means they're not going to move
They
away
don't have to leave. They can
to
stay
get a
home.
job. Yeah, they'll make their business here,
Yeah.
which creates jobs here. And that's what we're all hoping for, right?
So a whole lot about what you're doing with this and what's happening, I guess, on many levels, is that the arts and science are kind of coming together to create business and to strengthen our economy.
That was perfectly said.
You know, so that's where we are. What an exciting place to be. What a great marriage. Huh?
Oh, it's so wonderful. I love it. I do.
So what role does the Science Museum play in all of this?
The Science Museum, Kevin Krantz has been such a huge
He
help.
is such an amazing man.
Oh, he is. And he has great ideas.
Enormous energy.
Yes, and when I came to him the first time and I said, look, Kevin, I want to do this crazy thing. It's called a Steampunk and Makers Fair. He didn't know what steampunk was, but he had an open ear. And when I started to describe to him the creativity around these ideas, he just said, I'm in. And so he has been extremely helpful by opening his facility for that day for display. Like last year, the UL Industrial Design students made an entire display of the work they do at UL. Like, what is industrial design? How does it help society? And how is it going to create further growth and business development in Lafayette? And then they had a whole wall of fame where they had photographs and a description of some of the UL graduates who had gone off to do really important and amazing things around the country and the world. So that's still a display that's up.
Oh, I need to get over there before it goes down, before we have a new one, because we're going to have a new one next year.
It's so cool because all of the school children who go to the Science Museum for class will see a trajectory for ideas.
And they'll see a possibility for their own name and picture to be on that wall one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is like, if you're a maker when you're a kid or an idea person, you can carry that throughout your educational career and it can be your career when you're finished. I mean, that's really important. We need to give these students sort of some inspiration to work for.
Instead of just being the little nerdy kid in the back of the class.
Exactly.
Or the front of the class, depending on which seat they pick.
Exactly. And let's face it, as far as performing arts go, there are some people who wouldn't like the idea of steampunk. They maybe wouldn't like the idea of dressing up. Maybe that's a little too silly for them. But there are a lot of people who, just given the opportunity, love to create and improvise and join in the fun. And, like, look at Mardi Gras, right? I mean, people in Louisiana understand dressing up and role-playing for creativity.
Just being somebody different for a day, just get out of your own skin for just a little while.
Just a day, and it's so fun, and I'm so pleased to be a part of it. It's just very exciting to me.
And I don't know if people have seen this, but like I've seen some of the steampunk jewelry that people are making.
Yes.
Local people are making that.
Yes,
and
if you go to Creations by Fire on Jefferson Street, she was one of our vendors last year. A lot of the creations that she makes are steampunk, look steampunk. So that's awesome.
So it's all just, it's really all around us, and maybe we don't even know that much about it. So again,
yes.
What do you need from the community, and what can the community
I need everyone to come out and have fun. And then if people want to sponsor or just make a donation, that really helps our art center a lot. We're very grassroots, and we can't get all of the money that we need from grant writing. We'd love to, but we just can't because the grants have gotten really small. So anytime anybody makes a contribution to the Science Museum or to Cite des Arts, or even just wants to come to the festival and do a display, that really helps us out.
Okay, so people kind of get in touch with Cristy if you've got something that you can offer for that, but
Yeah.
all of us need to show up for the Steampunk Makers Festival.
Right, and we're going to have kind of a steampunk themed musical before the festival this year. It's going to be the Little Shop of Horrors. So
Wait.
we're making a plant that's going to look steampunk.
Now that's not a new play, is
No,
it?
no,
Are you adapting it for steampunk?
I'm going to adapt it, yes. I'm directing it, and it should be fun, and we'll have a live band. And that will be the first 2 weekends before the festival happens on Saturday,
So
the
that'll
15th.
help build the momentum and build all the energy up around it.
I think it'll get people excited, and it's right around Halloween, so it'll just be really fun.
Oh, so you can tie in with all the stuff that the Science Museum does for Halloween and their haunted house, and then go to the Little House of Horrors.
Right.
And, so the whole thing is going to just happen real
And
quick.
I also want to say that the library is a big part of this too. So can't forget that. They participated last year. Amy Wander set up some really wonderful events at the library. So also check the library schedule.
And do we have any word yet whether we're going to be in the new library or?
They're going to be in the new library, but I think they're also still going to be on Jefferson Street,
Okay, so maybe we'll have 2 locations.
which would be wonderful.
Yeah, because you can't have too much steampunk.
No, and not too much library. I mean,
And-
I love that they're on Jefferson Street.
Oh, that has been I have loved having them right downtown.
too.
So very quickly in the last couple of seconds again, where is Cite? And
Yes, we are at 109 Vine Street, downtown Lafayette. It's between Jefferson Street and 3rd Street, and anyone can call me at any time if they have questions about a play coming up. There's always a play every weekend, or live music or poetry or writing or film or dance. So get involved if you're a performer, or if you just want tickets, call me up at 291-1122.
Let me ask you the hard question. Where do you park?
Yeah, parking can be a little bit tricky, but there is a new parking lot right here at the Rosa Parks Transportation Center, and that's only about a block from Cite des Arts.
So that's where you can go park and make
Right.
it easy on yourself. You won't be wandering around all over the place.
Exactly, and there is a parking garage on Vermilion Street, which is not that far. It's only
That's
a couple
true.
of blocks from Cite.
And really, when you're walking downtown after a play, it's kind of a wonderful time to just sort of reminisce, go through, kind of go through the play again, chat, be with your friends. It's all good.
Absolutely, like see, that was so wonderful, and maybe you grab some coffee after somewhere. Carpe
exactly.
diem, maybe.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's all good. Cristy, I want to thank you for being with us again. It's been
Thank you
wonderful.
so
I'm
much.
excited about the Steampunk Makers Festival. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
And I wish you continued success, except that I know it's going to be just wonderful, so I don't even have to wish it because it's happening.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching The Extra Mile.
vous plaît. Le menu, s'il vous plaît. Qu'est-ce que tu préfères manger? De la viande ou du poisson? Merci beaucoup.